Cheap film gear is probably one of my favorite things in the world. It combines two of my loves, filmmaking equipment and saving money. But sometimes it is a matter of sifting through a whole heap of garbage to actually find anything that's good. Now, as someone who loves anything on a budget, I have definitely bought my fair share of pretty shoddy film equipment in the past, but I've also found some really awesome low-cost pieces of gear. So for today, I've actually compiled a list of low-cost film equipment that I actually use regularly and that I think you should consider buying today. So the first thing I want to show you guys today are these Arca Swiss quick release plates and adapters. Now, if you own several pieces of camera support gear, so for example, a couple of tripods, a slider, a shoulder rig, and so forth, then if you haven't already, you need to get onto matching your base plates for all pieces of camera support gear that you have. This means that it'll save you from having to change base plates and rethreading camera support gear to your camera each time you change to a new tripod or whatever it might be. The reason why the Arca Swiss system is so good is twofold. Firstly, they're ridiculously cheap. So the plates are under $5 themselves and the adapters are under $15, but also they're really well built and easy to operate. So instead of a slide and lock mechanism like most QR plates, it's actually a clamp style system. So you simply place your quick release plate in and tighten up the screw. And I find this to be a lot more easy and intuitive to control. Plus it's also really sturdy, so you don't have to worry about your camera jiggling about on the tripod. These things are awesome. I definitely recommend. From there, the next thing I want to show you guys is this Smallrig base plate with 15mm rod support. Now, if you're not sure what 15mm rods are, they're actually a fairly universal mounting system for adding extra accessories to your camera rig. So things like a follow focus, a matte box, extra lights, a microphone, plus heaps more. But you actually need a way of attaching the rods to your camera. So this base plate does exactly that and is awesome for a couple of reasons. One, it's not super bulky and clunky, unlike heaps of other 15mm rod base plates available online. So it's minimal and does its job, but it's also built like a tank. The key with camera support gear is that it does not get in the way, and when something's light and flimsy, it does exactly that. It's also super cheap, again, under $20 for this thing. So if you're interested in getting into the 15mm rod game, then I definitely recommend picking one of these up. And one of the first accessories you might want to pick up as the first attachment to your rod system is a battery plate adapter for your camera of choice and a rail block so you can actually attach it to the rods. Now, I'm currently a Sony a7S II user. I was previously a Canon T3i user, and both cameras are not particularly well known for their battery life. In fact, both of them have pretty bad battery life. And so this battery plate adapter was a must-have in order to avoid having to constantly change and recharge batteries over and over. So with this adapter, and you can buy this for basically any mainstream DSLR or mirrorless camera available, but it basically takes power from a Sony MP battery, converts it through a dummy battery adapter for your camera of choice, and then through that, powers up your camera. The reason why this is so great is that not only are these Sony MP batteries super affordable, they also come in really massive battery capacity sizes. So I have no problems getting through at least half a day, if not a full day of shooting using just one of these beefy 6900 milliamp Sony MP batteries. So I can definitely recommend picking up one of these battery plate adapters for your camera of choice. I also recommend picking up this cheap sub $15 rail block. You basically screw this into the adapter and then the whole system can sit on the back of your rods like this setup here. Now these next items are super budget friendly and they're a set of these spring-loaded clamps. Now these usually come in a set of at least 6, sometimes more, and they cost well under $10 for the entire set. So obviously very affordable, but I've actually found these to be incredibly useful for me for a whole range of purposes. So I kind of bought these on a whim quite a while back now, and at the time I wasn't really sure what I'd be needing them for. But like I said, there's actually been several occasions where I've found these have come in very handy, and actually nothing else really would have done the job as well as what these have done. So just for a few examples, I use these to attach my 5-in-1 reflector to the light stand that I use. It's actually more reliable and sturdy and easy to operate than the included clips on the light stand itself. I also use these to hang an acoustic blanket in a room that I'm trying to record audio in. Plus, I just use them for little odd jobs as well. So keeping things secure whilst I'm filming or holding cables in the right position and so forth. So even if right now, off the top of your head, you can't think of why you'd use one of these, I guarantee just follow my whim, buy a few of these, and you'll find great use for them at some point in the future. Now, the last products I want to talk about are these macro lens adapters, and man, do I love these things. So as of right now, my favorite focal length to shoot with is 85mm on a full frame sensor. So on a crop censored camera, this is equivalent to roughly 50mm. And so when I used to shoot with my Canon T3i, I used my 50mm lens pretty much all the time. And then when I upgraded to my A7S II, I missed that portrait look so much that I actually ended up buying an 85mm lens just to replicate that field of view. Now, both of these lenses are amazing, but the biggest issue with them is that both of them have very long focusing distances. And so usually I have to be around a meter away from the subject before I can lock focus on it. And this is not ideal at all for getting super close-up shots. So I ended up going the budget route and buying myself a set of macro lens adapters for both my 50mm and my 85mm lenses. Now, you can buy these as individual adapters, but I do recommend buying them in these sets of 4, in which you get a 1x focus adapter, a 2x, a 4x, and a 10x. And it's important to have a few of these because when you use these on your lenses, you actually limit your lens's focusing range, and so flexibility is key here. Now, generally speaking, just to give you a bit of an idea, I actually end up using these macro adapters at least once in every single video that I create. I just love close-up cinematography, and macro close-ups in particular are such a unique and awesome look, at least in my mind. Keep in mind that you do lose infinity focus when you whack one of these on your lenses, and you may experience a slight drop in image quality when you use these. But for me, for how cheap they are and for the functionality that they add to your lenses, I absolutely recommend them. But aside from that, that is it for this video. I've placed links to all of the products down in the description below. So if you're interested in picking some of this stuff up, then there's Amazon and eBay links down there for you to check out. So don't forget to do that. Also, let me know if you actually enjoy watching these filmmaking tips videos. I love making them. I've got plenty more content that caters specifically to filmmakers, but I need to know whether or not you actually enjoy watching them. So let me know down in the comments below. But aside from that, thank you guys very much for watching, and I will catch you later.